Welcome to the PLC Podcast Playoff Edition. Season 9, regular season, is done. It's over. It's a wrap. We know who is in the playoffs. We know who will be competing for a championship this year, and we are going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about, Season 9, Week 12, because we did make those picks, which is cool. We're going to talk about the feed on the week transactions. And all that good stuff. And we're going to make some playoff predictions as well as cover all the matchups, all of the different, implications, all the different history with the players, all that good stuff. It's going to be a good episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. And we will see you guys in chat, I guess, after. Yeah. See you there. Whoa, what the heck was that? Peace. All right, what's going on, PLC Podcast? This is a special episode. Jay and I are here. Hello, Jay.
Yo, what's up, bro?
What's going on, my friend? Very special episode because this is officially the postseason. As I clear my throat, sorry about that. Yes, this is the end of the regular season podcast. This is the first week of the postseason. Jay, how do you feel?
I feel fantastic. For me personally, I think it was an okay season. I think the record reflects that. 500, perfectly even. Definitely think could have done a lot of things better. Some things just weren't in my control. But it was a cool season, man. I had fun.
Well, that's good. I feel like my season was a little less than favorable, but it's all good. I'm not tripping because now I get to relax. So. Mm-hmm. You have the pressures of dealing with a battle this week, but you do also have the possibility of bringing home a championship in 4 weeks. So
hopefully, man,
that's more power to you, my friend. And I'll be rooting for you the whole way. So
thank you. I hope that you're enjoying your time in Cancun.
Yes, sir. Banana boat crew on deck. Me and the fam. So that's just a joke. That's like an NBA playoff joke. I'm not in Cancun, so just so everyone is aware.
He's in Cancun. He's literally in the hotel has really good Wi-Fi.
Really good Wi-Fi. The whole setup is here too. Yes, that's funny. But no, this is officially week 1 of the playoffs, round 1, more appropriately, of the playoffs. And we're going to talk about all of that good stuff in just a few. Jay, we are going to first discuss our picks from Week 12, and we're going to wrap up the regular season with our overall correct calls, incorrect calls, perfect calls, etc. Are you ready to kick off the recap of Week 12?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's freaking do it. Okay, so the first match of Week 12 was Zach and Jay, and Girl Jay. Jay Grants, Sakuna. I probably shouldn't say Girl Jay. I think I was going to check with her if she was cool with that last week, and I just completely forgot.
It's okay.
So Zach and Sakuna was the first match of last week. Jay, you called Zach winning by 3. I called Zach winning by 2, and Zach did win by 3. So Jay, you get a perfect call.
Thank you, Zach. I heard a bunch of horses just neigh all the way in the background for the dark horse, quote unquote, dark horse of the PLC. Appreciate you, bro. Next up for our second match, I had myself going against the Reese. Now, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
If you remember last week, I told you about the dream I had. Mm-hmm. I wrote it in one of the chats that we have as well. And I thought I had a good chance, to be honest with you. And I still think I had a good chance. I'll just say, I don't know if you've seen that match. The first turn really messed me up. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a genius partner on Reese play. The covert cloak on the electrode, into the chloroblast of the Palafin. You know what's crazy? I've seen when you post the matches and you put the screenshots, the items.
Yeah.
I remember he did it a couple times in the season before, and I didn't think about it for some reason. And I think that was just a fantastic move on his part. And just from that, I was kind of just fighting on the back foot the entire time. But I'm smart. I think ahead. In case this was going to happen, I actually chose myself to lose because, either way, if I lose, I still win in some way. You know what I mean? So technically, I take home something. So Reese did win her match by 3. I called Reese by 0. Jordan, you called me at 1. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Um, but I got the correct call. And Reese completes the first perfect season in PLC history, going 12-0 on the season, a plus minus of 40 with the maximum points of 24 for the season. Very, very impressive. On his part, man. Gotta give props where it's due, you know.
That is high key impressive. I'm glad you said that because
Mm-hmm,
I wasn't thinking about that at all. But that is crazy. I mean, that's really impressive. That's really cool. So,
mm-hmm.
no, props to Aris. Props to you for getting that correct call. That's
Yes,
you were in a
sir.
win-win situation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's actually big brain plays. So, 10 points to House Delgado. That's awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
And I did miss that call, so Jay, you let me down.
All according to plan.
Next up is Ian and Ty. So Ian ends up winning this match by 4. Jay, you called Ian by 2. I called Ian by 4. So Ian, thank you for the perfect call. I appreciate it. And Jay, you end up with the
Nice.
correct call. Good stuff.
Nice. Oh man, this next one. Jordan against Brian. Jordan, I called you winning by 2. You mirrored my prediction with also going to. I think you chose first, one of the two. Unfortunately, this was kind of a potentially win or go home game. Brian is able to pull out the win by 2. Neither of us get the call correct. What are your thoughts on this match? If you
um,
have any.
yeah, I got some thoughts. So let's just let me just first. So I will do this first. I will say GG to Brian because if you watch my reaction video, I did not say GG at the end of that game. And usually I make it a point, win, lose, or draw, to at least say GG to my opponent as I wrap up the recording and the reaction and all that good stuff. But again, if you didn't watch the video, maybe go back and watch it. I cut the video. I cut it pretty short because I was a little hot. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, it is what it is. You know, you win some games, you lose some games, and it is what it
Yeah,
is.
it's okay, man. Everyone said you had their, F this moment or throughout the
Yeah,
season. It
no, for
happened.
sure. I think that's an appropriate way to describe it. But I do want to say GG to Brian. So good stuff, well played, and congrats on the top 3 finish. Good stuff. Unfortunately, I let us both down. We both missed the call, which is not awesome.
It is okay.
Yeah, not big brain plays on my end.
It's okay. It happens. Don't
Yeah,
worry. We'll we'll get them next year.
not for sure. We'll figure this out. But yeah. So I missed that one, and you missed that one. So my bad. Next up is Dan and Phil. So Jay, you called Phil winning by 2. I called Dan winning by 2, and Dan did win, but by 4. So correct call for me, incorrect call for you, Jay. And yeah, good stuff, Dan. I
Fortunate, but
appreciate it.
of course, anytime. Props to Dan. Phil, just he had a little help, bro. Just so you had a little help. Moving by 4 is a little crazy, but you made it in. That's the most important thing. Again, I think we said it a lot last week. Is as long as you get in there, everything just resets back to 0 technically.
New season. Yep.
Next up, we had Chris going against Evan. Now, Jordan, we spoke last week, and we both said it was kind of possible for maybe one of them to get in there, but they'd have to like literally blow each other out.
Mm-hmm.
So both went with Chris. We both said either by 5 or 6. The match must be a lot closer than we expected, and we also got the call incorrect with Evan picking up the win by 1. Um, yeah, man. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to kind of elevate the players to playoffs. But it's a nice. It was a solid match from what I've heard. It was a solid match. Nice way to end the season for Evan, and for Chris, just get him next year. You know what I mean?
Right, right. No, and Evan, I mean, anytime you can get a PLC dub, it's big, you know, because we play
Mhm.
what 12 matches a game, which means every game is very important. So anytime you can get a win, that's awesome. So I think Evan had a rough start to the season, if I remember correctly, or maybe it was like last year. He was was he winless last year? I can't remember exactly what the situation was, but Evan had a tough go of things. But he kind of wrapped the season up with a nice little dub. So good stuff. You love to see it. And then speaking
Yes,
again,
sir.
you and I will get them next year, so no worries.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Simon and Justin. Jay, you call Simon by 1. I call Justin by 4. And I think this was Justin's opportunity to play spoiler to Simon. Simon, this was a win and get in type of situation. Again, I don't remember the
Mm-hmm.
specifics if it was really that simple, but Simon does take the dub, but by 3. So, Jay, you get a correct call. I get the incorrect call. But good stuff, Simon. Simon's in playoffs. Are you guys freaking
Mm-hmm.
hyped to see this?
Simon is in playoffs, man. And I think it's very well deserved. Considering how
Agreed.
Simon started his first season, just kind of seeing how he's just been improved in both team building, and in the matches as well. I think the team building to me is the biggest improvement because we used to give Simon a lot of flack on this podcast, myself
Mm-hmm.
included, just for some of the decisions he's made regarding trades and drops, which we still do.
Yeah,
But again, it's nice to see him put up a fair amount of wins some rounds.
for
So
sure.
props to him, man, and good job. First time playoffs as well. So I'm pretty sure he's geeked out about that. So good stuff, Simon. He had his control of his destiny, took it in his own hands, and he got the job done.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's exciting to see.
Next up, we had Brendan going against SB. Now, Jordan, we stressed a lot about how important this match was, just because again, it was kind of a head-to-head between two people who have the same record,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, and that match just had crazy playoff implications. At certain points, we said numerous times that the loser of this match, it's very, very likely that they wouldn't make it. And unfortunately, to note that they, not unfortunately, because my Jordan's my co-host, so I don't want to do him like that, you know. But SB takes the win, first of all. Props to him, and he wins by 2. Giving you the correct call, Jordan, because you called him by 0, because you thought it was gonna be like close, 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 close. I thought Brendan was gonna pull up the W, so I got like 3 incorrect call for me. So again, SB wins. He solidified himself going into the first playing round. Brendan as well. Didn't lose by too much, so I think that kind of helped him in also securing a spot in playoffs too. So again, good stuff, SB. Brendan, you're in, bro. So just remember everything that happened before. Like it's just clean slate.
No, for sure. Absolutely. And again, it's a situation I would love to find myself in, but unfortunately, we are not. So I am not. But
Listen. You have fruit drinks in the beautiful cups with the little umbrella inside. I heard
exactly.
in Cancun that they're very nice. That's like authentic fruit juice. You have the beach right next to you. You have the beautiful ocean. You're fine. You're
And the
fine.
weather is high key perfect. So
Exactly. Exactly.
it's not as bad as it otherwise could be. So
Yeah,
we are
like
vibing.
how like that. Like when I went to visit you guys in Charlotte, it was free. Like, I mean, I keep saying Charlotte in North Carolina. Technically, kind of in Charlotte, not really though. On the outskirts of Charlotte, as you will. It was freezing, bro. I was like, damn, I came to the south to get out of New York weather and just followed me.
It was actually really cold. I remember
Yeah,
that.
it was.
And I think we may have been in South Carolina.
Yeah,
Now that
yes, we were in
yeah,
South Rock Hill, South Carolina.
yeah. Now that I think about it, it's like, oh yeah, we were. Which I mean, technically we were further south, so you would think it'd be warmer. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
not really that far, but yeah, no, that was a pretty chilly day. I remember that. Pretty crazy stuff. But we have our moments. We have our moments down
Mm-hmm.
south where it's nice, and then we have those types of days.
Yeah,
Not here in Cancun though. We're vibing.
exactly.
um, the last match of the week to wrap up Week 12 and the regular season was Jay Wade versus Mike. We have the UK versus the USA. We have the Redcoats versus the Bluecoats. The I don't know. I can't think of
I
anything
think,
else. USA versus UK. Um,
I think the term was what they called Yankees in the war.
yeah, that's appropriate. I couldn't think. I knew it was something, but I was like, I don't know. Let me just try to think of something funny, and I couldn't think of nothing funny. And but yeah, I think it was the
Hmm.
Yankees. But but no, we have Jay Wade versus Mike. So Jay, you called Mike by 3.
Hmm.
I called Mike by 1. Sorry for fumbling that. But Jay Wade comes out on top by 4.
Yes, sir.
Jay Wade with the big dub. It actually kept Mike out of the top 4.
That's
Interestingly
unfortunate.
enough, yeah, no, it is
Oh,
because that top
that's
4.
very. Hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's a big win for Jay Wade, but a big loss for Mike. I think a bigger loss
Hmm.
if I, you know, was gonna assign a weight to things. I'd say it's a bigger loss on Mike's end, but um, also a loss for us because we both got an incorrect call. So Jay Wade plays spoiler to everybody this week.
Yes, sir. Small victory for Her Majesty's nation. As well, but we still won the Revolutionary War, so I guess
Right.
we're still always up technically.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, so I mean that wraps up the regular season. That's season 9. Week 12 done. Jay, this week we both went 4-5, 4 correct
Hmm.
calls, 5 incorrect calls. You on the season went 50 correct calls,
Mm.
23 incorrect. So good
Hmm.
job making your calls. And I went
Thank you.
46 and 26. So a
Hmm.
little worse, but I mean 4 games, 4 game swing here and there would have tied us
Exactly.
up. But yeah,
Mm.
good stuff on you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And you go ahead. I'll let you take the perfect calls away too.
Gladly. I
Yeah.
will gladly take the perfect calls, Jordan. This week we both had one. So not bad, but as you said, we kind of had a rough week this time around, going 4-5. But overall, Jordan, you had 16 perfect calls for the season. I, however, had lucky number 17 this time around. So I'm sorry, bro, but I didn't mean to sweep you in both picks aspects. It just happened like that. But again, that's you shouldn't have bet on me. That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't have bet on me. Like I'm saying, like 6 losses. I'm sorry, but things like that happen. Just learn for next year. You know what I mean?
No,
And
that's
I won't
fair.
sell. I promise you, I won't sell as much.
No, it's all good. Next season, I'm going 88 and 0. 88 correct calls, no incorrect calls. Book it. You heard it here first. I don't even know if 88 matches are going to be played next year, but I'm going
I'm not
88
gonna
and
lie. I was like, that's a lot of matches.
well,
Okay, that's
actually,
a
that is a
lot.
lot. Holy crap! Because 46 and 26 is what 72.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, 80. I mean, 88's it's a little bit more, but
Hmm.
that is a lot of matches.
That's
Hopefully, we don't have
crazy.
it. Yeah, I think that's a little excessive. But
Hmm.
bottom line, I'm going perfect next year. I'm going all correct calls, all perfect calls. It's going to be amazing. So, but no, good stuff, Jay. You do get the
Thank you.
sweep, and yeah, good calls this year. Great stuff.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And with that being said, Week 12 has been recapped, and Jay, it is time to move into standings and the playoff bracket. Are you ready to discuss the playoffs?
I am, because I have a couple questions about this bracket, but it's okay.
All right, for sure. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in. I guess the last thing I do want to say before we go into playoffs, Jay, is there anything from the regular season? I'm trying to rack my brain thinking too, and I'm sorry for springing this on you now because we didn't discuss this earlier. But is
Mhm.
there anything from the regular season, weeks 1 through 12, that you found interesting, or just anything about the season that you wanted to mention before we move forward? And if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you do,
Um.
just
Rest
wanted to
in
ask.
peace to Isamu first and foremost. I think that's like I don't really know how to say it. Like
That
that
was a
was just
crazy
so
day.
random.
Yeah, that
I
was
was
a
not expecting that I was not expecting that to happen. And I just think the reasoning I think
yeah,
is very valid. Is extremely valid. I think at this point, I think everyone who has received or gotten any type of advice should be disqualified from the playoff position. Myself, uh, Chris, no, not Chris, SB, who's in playoffs. Myself, SB, Jay Wade, Mike, Zach, and Aris for giving the advice should also be banned as
yep.
well. Only person who should still be allowed is Simon because um I don't know. I had the joke and I lost it.
Because
Long
Simon
story
doesn't
short,
listen to
see,
anybody.
yeah, I'm like, long story short, Isamu, very, very random. That to me was a very funny part of the season. It's, another thing that I liked when they were finishing the season, I think a lot was I don't know. I think, I feel like Terra wasn't like as what I'm looking for.
As like
I don't want
oppressive, maybe, as Dynamax.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This. I didn't play last season, so like you can kind of speak to a little more. But I didn't think it was that bad. I can see why in singles it could definitely be a problem though. But I didn't think it was too it was too rough for anybody when it
Yeah.
comes to the terror part of the season. Overall, I think everybody did a good job. You know, um, and yeah. Besides that, props to everybody for completing the season. It's hard, man. 12 week scheduling. You know what I mean? Life happens, things happens. A lot of the other guys do have families. Jordan, yourself, Reese, Ian. I'm trying to think. Who else has kids? Who else has kids? Who else has kids, Jordan?
Phil has a
Phil
son, I
has
want to
kids.
say. Yeah.
Phil just for taking up that spot and joining, inheriting a team that he didn't pick,
Oh, for
kind of
sure. Yeah.
molding that team into his own, and making playoffs, man. Got to give props to him on that, just for keeping that boat afloat.
Right.
Most
Right.
definitely.
No, I agree. And I think Simon has like 2 kids. I know SB has 4, I want to say. No, I'm just playing. That's
If
all.
you know, I don't know, like if you can see my face right now, I was like, really? What the fuck? I was like, I've never heard them mention anything.
Right,
It's
right.
crazy.
No, that's a joke. But no, that's funny. But no, it's been a good year, and the Isamu thing was wild. That was actually really
Mhm,
crazy. I still remember we were at the ball. We were at Build a Bear when everything was hitting the fan, and I was like looking at my phone trying to figure out what was going on,
mhm.
and that was a crazy day. But no, I mean I can't really think of anything too crazy otherwise, or other than that. That was definitely the craziest part of the season for sure. But I guess the only other thing that I do want to say, I think we kind of already spoke to it a minute ago, but Simon being in playoffs is cool. It's cool to
Mhm.
see, um, because this is he's had I want to say a couple rough years where it's just been you know not the best
Yeah.
seasons, but and he's
Mhm.
been on the outside looking in more times than he hasn't. But this year, he's in there, and again, fresh season. Everybody is 0-0 as we head forward, and that's just kind of cool to see. So props to you, Simon. But no, other than that, I think we are cool to move on to playoffs. Jay, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's freaking do this. Okay, so I guess what I'll do is I'll cover the standings really quickly. And Jay, I'll let you speak to the playoff bracket, and then we'll just kind of go where the conversation takes us. Is that cool?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Well, that being said, the top 4. So 1 through 4. Reese at 12-0, Zach at 11-1, Brian at 10-2, and Ian sneaks back into the top 4 at 9-3 with a plus minus of 17, which is important because Mike is number 5 at 9-3 with a plus minus of 11. Again, that loss in week 12 was a big loss because it dropped him out of the top 4, and now he's the first player participating in the round 1. So the round 1 participants are numbers 5 through 12. Again, Mike at number 5, 9-3. Jay Wade at 8-4. Dan at 7-5. Jay, you are
Yo.
6-6, right there in the
Yes,
middle of the
sir.
pack at number 8. You will be playing SB this week, who is the number 9 player at 5-7. Simon, again, congrats to you for being in playoffs for the first time, also at 5-7 in the number 10 spot. And then 11-12 are Brendan and Phil, both at 4-8. Brendan with the slightly better plus minus of -9, and then Phil with the -12, which squeaks him into the playoffs. And I am in the number 13. I'm the first player out, also at 4-8
Ah,
with a plus minus of
don't say that.
-13. It's all
Don't say
good.
that.
I've coped with it at this point, so I'm fully comfortable. Again, the weather here in Cancun is pretty nice, so I'm vibing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm number 13 at 4-8. Evan also at 4 and 8 with a plus minus of -20 at number 14. And then 15, 16, 17, and 18. Ty at 3 and 9. Speakman at 3 and 9. Justin at 2 and 10. And then Jay Grants, Sakuna at 2 and 10 rounds out the standings. And that being said, we are officially locked into the playoff bracket. And Jay, I will let you speak to that.
Yeah. So again, as I mentioned, we do have a first round play-in. The first four seeds are currently on a little bit of a nice vacation as they get a bye week. Again, starting from 1 to 4. Reese is number 1, Zach is number 2, Brian is number 3, and Ian is number 4. The only question that I had, Jordan, and I was confused when I saw the bracket initially, I was under the impression that the first seed would get more of the opportunity to face the lower seeds. What I mean by that is I currently see let's say Ian, right? I think the Mike and Phil matchup that's fine,
Mm-hmm.
but I would figure that it'd be make more sense for the 12 seed to be on the path of the 1 seed. Does that
Right.
make sense? Because he
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
lower one. And same thing with the 11 and 6 matchup and the 7 and 10 matchup because technically shouldn't the lower seed face the number 1 seed?
No, I think you are correct. But because I can't remember, I wish I would have saved a picture. Um, when I made the bracket, but I think that because again, I think you are correct because typically that's what happens. So Phil being the number 12, if he was to move forward, he being the lowest seeded person would have to play the highest ranked person. That's traditionally how it works out. I need to check it out actually because if there is any adjustments that need to be made, I think we may need to do that. But the thought process, I think I don't remember exactly. I did
Mhm.
pull this exact seating from a bracket that was made. I don't remember exactly where the bracket came from, but that was a question I had as well. And I think the rationale is that, like, if like looking at the bracket, right? So Mike and Phil play. That's your number
Mhm.
5 and number 12 seed.
Mhm.
You would expect that, no shade against Phil, but you would expect Mike as the fifth ranked player to advance, right?
Mhm.
And if he was to advance, he would play, if we flipped it to where he plays a Reese and you, Jay, and SB, your match was flipped and the winner of yours was to play Ian. If Mike were to advance, Reese would then be playing the number 5 seed and Ian would be playing a lower ranked seed despite having a worse seed. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I think that's the rationale behind it. But I don't know exactly. That's actually it is a good point. But
Mhm.
no, I think I pulled the seating from another image or another bracket that had been made. But that kind of makes sense to me too, though. Does that make sense to you?
A, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Just because I don't know. I just think I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Just because I don't know. I look at the potential that the 1 seed, right? So let's say me or SB are gonna go through, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 1 seed are like already has the chance that he won't face anyone lower than anyone on the bottom. Like that makes you know what I mean? Because it's like let's
Yeah.
say for example, right? Let's say Brendan beats Jay Wade, right? Then Brian gets to gets to number 11, and then let's say I don't know, you know what I mean? So even even if like the people who are quote unquote favorites to win record wise
Right.
don't don't win, it just I don't know, it just looks strange. I'm not. It's okay because like I'm pretty sure we can't change it now, just because I'm pretty sure everyone's probably spoke and scheduled everything, just
Yeah.
because it's technically about to be close to 40 minutes of battling, maybe even an hour if it's
Third game and
but
stuff, right?
just something to remember for the future. A little part of me was like, because when I saw, it, I was like, why the hell I gotta face? I just saw this man, like literally, like last week. Now I gotta see him again potentially in next week.
Right.
Like I like Reese, but I don't like him that much. You know what I mean? I'm
Right,
joking,
right.
Reese. I love you. I love you. But again, I was saying, so Reese first, Zach second, Brian third, Ian fourth. round one of the play-ins. Again, this is a best of three. Unlike previous play-ins where it would just be a best of one. If you get that little RNG game, you know what I mean? It happens. You know, there's always a chance to bounce back. Just try not to tilt. Realize you'll have another chance. First matchup is going to be myself and SB. We faced off, I believe, 3 weeks ago. I want to say, which was week 10, if I'm not mistaken. Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong. Week 10 of the regular season.
No,
That was it.
SB played Phil that week. Hold on, I can tell you. Hold
Week
on.
9. Week
Uh,
9. It was week 9. It had to
yes,
be.
you are correct. Yep, week 9.
Week 9, yeah. Interesting match, to say the least. But I remember I was like, damn, I wish like the match didn't go down how it went down. But now, I have a chance to get a little bit of revenge. SB has a really solid team, a very scary team as well. And he's proven that he's more than capable of, you know, putting some hurt on. But Jordan, and I saw that Ian mentioned this in one of the pictures of the bracket
Mm-hmm.
in the group. SB has the chance to repeat what he did in season 5.
Yeah.
He has myself. If he beats me, then he has Reese. So it's just he has a chance to repeat and make history, and kind of get himself into another finals. He has a team to do it as well, so it's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to a great matchup. Obviously, I'm gonna go for myself and have the confidence in myself, but it, it would be pretty funny if he like was the one to like end the Reese's perfect season in the sense to my playoff. It'd be interesting.
No, it would be. It would be. And I mean, it's exactly what happened in season 5. So in season 5,
Mm-hmm.
we did the play in. So SB climbed out of the play in as a number 8 seed,
Mm-hmm.
faced you in the first round of the playoffs and won. Then he
Mm-hmm.
faced a Reese in the next round, and that got him into finals. And that's actually the finals that him and I played. And that was my championship year, which was cool. But no, it is interesting that this is the same exact thing that he ran into in
Yeah.
season 5, which is crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, interesting stuff. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. And
Most definitely.
like you said, week 9, you guys did play, and he did, he won that game by 3. So I know you're going to
Mm-hmm.
have a good plan as you head into this best of 3. And again, I'm rooting for you, Jay. And
Thank you, bro.
and SB's reached out to me on a couple of different occasions with different ideas, and he notably hasn't reached out to me this week. And I think he's realized that this guy went 4-8 this year. I don't think this is the input that I need.
No, it's just the Wi-Fi in Cancun is that great from
Exactly,
the
that's fair.
outside coming in.
Exactly, outside of the podcast, it's not the best. So maybe he did send the
Mm-hmm.
message, just got lost in the Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
No, good point. But no, I just think that's funny. But no, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to see how you guys how this match plays out. So
Thank you, bro.
good
Definitely.
stuff.
Another interesting matchup is the next one, which is Mike going against Phil. I think if I'm Mike, I'm pissed to be honest with you. I would want the week off. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, I think it can't be say how important that is because again, it's like you're essentially prepping for 3 battles. Obviously, you don't want to get to a game 3 if you could finish it in 2, but you have to essentially make 3 different teams if you want, or even throw something up on the fly for the third game. That's what I did in my third game at one point. I think against someone where I just threw something together, and I was like, if it goes, it goes.
Fair.
But yeah, and I think this is gonna be a very interesting match. I think Phil's team, one matchup with Mike's, I think it has some potential to hurt it a little bit. But I also think Mike has a lot of solid winning conditions on his squad. So I think it's going to be one to look at as well. Jordan, you have any input on this matchup?
No, I mean I think it's interesting that Mike and Phil did not play this year, but
Mm.
Mike did play Isamu. So they have history, quote unquote, history from this season. But again, Isamu did drop. He did he go 0-3? I think he went 0-3 drop. But yeah, they played week 1. Isamu and Mike did. Mike did come out on top by 1 though, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Phil, of course, took over that team in week 4 and has been piloting it since. So it's gonna be, I'm sure a very different matchup than that week 1 match was. But no, I think it's gonna be interesting. So I think again, Mike, I think he's gonna be upset as well because he very well could have had a top 4 seed. but just
Mhm.
kind of crapped out just right at that last. Taking a loss last week didn't help his position. So I think he's gonna be a little upset with that too, and I think he's gonna be prepped and ready to go. So can't wait to see this one either.
Right. That's a nice little storyline. Week one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of the members of Isamu's old team. Now it's kind of like making a head coaching change in the season.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean? So you kind of get that new tactician in, a little bit of increase in the morale. So maybe he spends the block for some of his Pokemon that lost that first week. That'll be interesting for sure.
No, I agree.
Next up, we have Jay Wade going against Brendan. I think this is probably going to be one of the nicer series as well. To be honest with you, um, Jay Wade, I think, coming up a really solid W against Mike. Brendan, who's struggled a little bit, struggled a little bit as we headed into. Oh damn!
Yeah, loss of 6 in a
Well,
row.
yeah, yeah. I want to say it like that, but
Well, yeah.
like but that's the record.
Yeah, no, it is.
Unfortunately, but it's like again, it's a little rough to um kind of finish off losing, essentially almost after midseason. But I think Brendan still has a really solid team. I think that's the lot can go from. He has a very solid team. He has the things that I think can very well turn a series, even a battle, on its head if they end up getting going. I liked some of the moves he did with the transactions, picking up that Hail Core with the Lola Ninetales and the Curum. And again, Curum hits hard, man. It hits extremely hard. I think the Ninetales being able to kind of set up that veal early on helps a lot of his bulkier teammates. So I think it's a good team. And I think there's going to be a really, really good series because Jay Wade has proven this season and in seasons past that, he has a great Pokemon mind. Um, in in sports, not so much. In Pokemon, he's fantastic. So props to him just for having the season that he had as well. And I think this has potential to go 3 games as well. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Jordan?
All right, so a couple thoughts. I've got three things that I want to mention real quick. One,
Hmm.
Brendan's got Kieran now, so I am pulling for Brendan now. So
Hmm.
do my boy proud. That's the first thing. The second is this is a match that was played relatively recently. So in week 10, Jay Wade and Brendan played, and Jay Wade won by 5, which is like, wow, yeah, exactly. But no, so Jay Wade, won that match by 5. Brendan has proven himself, and this is going to kind of segue into my third point. But he has proven himself to be a really solid player. And we just mentioned that Mike is going to be a little upset, losing the last week match to drop into the play-in round or the round 1 matches. I think Brendan's gonna be a little upset too because he did. This is fact. It's not me throwing shade or anything like that, but he has lost 6 in a row, and he's also, this is my third point, he's a season 8 finalist. So he lost to a Reese last year, and he was in a very good spot in Game 3. And if you know the story, you know the story. But yeah, he was in a position to potentially win a championship just last year, and now he comes into the playoffs, where again we've mentioned it a few times, but it's a brand new season. He's got more power on, or not more power, but he's got a little bit different team as he gears up for this second piece of season 9. And I think he's gonna be a little upset too. So having that loss from just a couple weeks ago, having the loss streak, and knowing that he's demonstrated that he is a very competent player over the past couple seasons, I think he's going to be ready to go. But I also do think that this is going to be a close set, and I wouldn't be surprised if either player comes out. And this one's going to be one to keep an eye on. This is really cool to see. So
Yes, sir. I'm telling you, man. I think that's one that's gonna be really. Rounding out our final play in round 1 matchup, we have Dan going against Simon. Now, this is an interesting one, man. We're praising Simon a lot. I think he's riding a great high. They're kind of, just making his first playoffs, man. It's
mm-hmm.
really exciting. It's gonna be interesting seeing how Simon fares in the best of series as well. Again, this is his first time here. Jordan, I know you know this, but I know a lot of guys who are sports probably know this. We talk a lot about playoff experience.
Right.
So just overall, just again, uh, 2 teams, maybe 3 teams, building wise, for the week, and then just having to flat out almost what could potentially be an hour of your day. Kind of
Right.
get some battles done, maybe like in between, get some water and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Simon handles that for the first time. Dan, it's been here before. Dan's had what pretty solid regular seasons. But he's never been, and this is no fit, then he's never been managed to kind of take it to the next step. And I think Dan has the potential to do it. I think he's a fantastic player. And he definitely knows a lot of his stuff. So I'm eager to see if he's able to take that next step. I probably won't see him on my side of the bracket just because we're far apart. But we can see each other in finals, who knows? Um, but it's gonna be interesting to see, how he comes out this year. I know he's been trying to make some trades to kind of make his team a little bit better. I think he made some really solid pickups during the final wire as well. So I think it's gonna be an interesting matchup. So I think Simon also I looked at Simon's team and it reminded me of My Little Pony, just because he has the Keldeo, he has the Glacier, and he has the Spectre. So I just thought of like horses and ponies. So I thought that was like really cool on his part to kind of match them all together. But yeah, man, I think this is gonna be an interesting one. I'm eager to see how it plays out. I think this is let me just look at the matches real quick. I think I'm trying to think. 'Cause I'm like, I don't know if Mike or Phil have capture cards.
Oh, I didn't think
Jay
about that.
when I don't know if Brendan's gonna be able to borrow Chris's. I know Dan or Simon don't have a capture card either, so I don't know how many of these we're actually gonna get video footage of either. So that's the thing to kind of keep in mind.
Yeah.
But like, because I think only my match will be the one recorded, so we'll see. But just something to keep in mind. I think it's gonna be a nice showcase between those two. Hopefully, we get to see it. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Jordan?
No, I think this is going to be a good one. So I didn't think about the capture card piece though. That is interesting. That's something
Mhm.
to keep in mind as we see the playoffs kind of take shape. But no, I think this will be a good one though. Dan is a good player. I think he's actually probably does he have an off season championship? I don't really keep up with the off season as much as I
Yes, he
probably should.
does.
Yeah, he may have some pretty. I want to say maybe even two or something like that. But I think he does. Um, really well in the off season, and he's always a player that is competent. You always have to prep before you play Dan, and everybody knows that Dan is very solid. And it's going to be interesting to see how Simon plays because again, this is Simon's first taste of best of three action, the first his first taste of playoffs, PLC playoffs, and it's not the traditional. You go in, you have a game plan. You've got to really have a game plan and then a game plan if the game plan goes well, and you also have to have a game plan if the game plan goes terrible, and then you have to
Mhm.
have a potential third game plan depending on how the first two games play out. So it's like it is a little different. It's a lot more. I mean, it's a lot more stressful to be honest, but it's also you just got to think about so many different things. So it's going to be interesting. And then Dan, he's done this before, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. So that
Mhm.
is going to be fun. But that's your round one matches. Good stuff. So, oh, and last thing, these players did play in season 9. Dan did win their week 5 matchup by 3. So, they
Mm.
played in early March. So it's been about 2 months since they did see each other. But Dan did win that matchup back in week 5. So
Yeah, and as Simon said, I think he said there's some debt that has to be collected.
he did.
Uh, he did say that, you know what I mean? So getting a little spicy early,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
What did he say against Speakman that one time?
He said, God, what did he say?
That was the
Oh
funniest
my
thing ever.
God, what did he say? I remember because we wrote it like a paragraph, like a poem about it or a
That was
story about it.
funny, bro. Oh, I
Oh
remember the story
man,
too. That was freaking great. We gotta go find that. But
I'm
but no.
I'm I'm upset. What is it was something debt. I
Oh
felt
my
like
gosh.
payback. It was like payback debt or something like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
don't I don't know if that's what it felt.
I forgot about the little fan fiction I wrote. That's hilarious.
Yeah, you did a live reading of it.
That was freaking great. Now we gotta. We do gotta find that though, because that was freaking hilarious. But no, and I was scrolling Facebook just now, just trying to find exactly what he said. But no, he did mention something in the comments when I posted. Actually, I could go here and then comments. Yeah, so here we go. Simon said, "I've got some debt to collect after week 5. That was such a bust for me." So he's got some debt to collect, Dan. So
that means,
yeah,
Dan, you gotta pay your bill, bro.
exactly.
You gotta pay your bills now,
Debt
or else
collector is calling.
he's gonna take you. He's gonna take you to court. You gotta pay that bill this week, man.
I
That's
can't
nice.
wait.
It's nice to see that.
Right, it is. No, it is exciting to see. So those are your round 1 matchups. Again, everything's best of 3. We're not doing a round 1 or a best of 1 play-in round this year. We expanded the playoffs to 12 players, which allows for these best of 3 matches to be played in round 1. So that's exciting. That's new for this season. It's exciting to see. So, Jay, anything you want to mention? I guess the last thing we do need to get to is transactions, which we can kind of talk to in a second. I don't think we're going to do like a in-depth breakdown of them, but anything you want to mention before we jump into transactions about the playoffs, about the season, about anything like that?
Yeah, just a reminder for maybe people who have been maybe been checked out towards later in the season. Just about these transactions. Again, there were 2 wire windows. There was the final wire. And then there was what we call the feet on the weak wire, which means that again, once everyone's results were realized, everything was settled and organized. Those who did not make playoffs, their teams were dropped to the overall wire. We did have some things removed. Excuse me, we had some things that got their Astros removed. Being, if I top of my head, Keldeo, Best Legion Male, and I forgot what the third Pokemon was. They got their Astros removed as well. So that's a lot of power that was added onto the wire. I think everybody kind of benefited from the moves they made. And yeah, man, I think kind of juicing up the teams before heading into that final stretch. And it's cool because that's another twist of you have 2 essentially new Pokemon, up to 4 because you also had 4 trade, four potential moves with the 2 trades as well. Because mentioned, you also get 2 trades that weekend as well. So adding 4 new Pokemon and kind of incorporating them this late in the season, and win or go home kind of series. I think it's a very nice kind of stipulation and a very nice thing to experience. You know what I mean? It gives you a chance to switch it up a little bit. The things that maybe you really needed in the season. Some people are stingy, so
Right.
and sometimes you just fall asleep at midnight, and sometimes you just can't get that wire pick. Like things like that happen. So it's nice to kind of get maybe that mon you were eyeing. I don't think anybody got sniped, either, to be honest with you.
No,
It's
that's
cool.
good
It's
though.
cool.
It is fun because it's just your last opportunity to, again, just kind of like it's about to be, go time. The next 4 weeks of the season are the most important weeks of the season. So this is your last opportunity to, maybe you got crushed by a Metagross in week 7. I don't know. And you're like, yo, if I had Metagross on my team, I'd be able to put in work. Now's your opportunity. Potentially pick up Metagross. That's just an example. I don't think Metagross was on the wire, but that's just an example of, people are stingy. And, sometimes they just don't want to trade. They don't want to trade their best Pokemon. It's just that simple. Yeah, like I would not have wanted to trade Grimmsnarl or Kyurem at any point in the season, and it's exciting to see Kyurem get picked up. So,
especially not for Maractus
exactly.
Or some you know what I mean? Because you guys be disrespectful with these offers at times too. So I get why people are stingy because sometimes people be offering things that they drop the very next week.
Right.
Like the very next week they drop it. It's like, bro, come on now. Show some class. Show some respect. I'm joking. But you know what I mean? Just again, it's a nice way to just inject just even some new energy into your team. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, exactly. So I guess, Jay, is there any pickups that you want to speak to really quickly? I do want to mention one really quick, or I think 2.
You should go with yours first, and I'll mention mine.
Okay, cool, cool. So
That's okay.
I've got two that I want to shout out, and
Mhm.
I'm just trying to find the second. Got it. Okay. So the first I would like to shout out is Jay, you,
Oh, thank you.
co-host, picking up Clefairy.
Yeah.
You love to freaking see it. So
Thank you.
again, do Clefairy right. Clefairy is a baller. Clefairy will do you right if you do her right, and I'm excited to see her on your team. So
Thank
uh,
you. Thank you.
shout out to you for the awesome pickup. And then the second is Brendan Curum Base. Again, Curum will put in some freaking work, and I hope Curum does well for you, Brendan. And I actually do have one more. Phil picking up Suicune. And again, I've been checked out for like the last week, so I'm looking at these for the first time, and I see Phil picked up Suicune, dropped Latias for Suicune, and Suicune put in a little bit of work for me earlier in the season. So I did have to drop it because it just didn't have the offensive firepower that I needed at the time. But no, Suicune going into playoffs is pretty cool to see. I've got a special place in my heart for Suicune, so that's awesome. But
Aw.
Jay, you with Clefairy, good luck. Brendan, you with Kieran Base, good luck. Phil with Suicune, good luck. He picked up Raikou too, which is kind of cool. So he's got those
Mm-hmm.
two. Does he have Entei as well? Who has Entei?
I believe Ty had Entei. I don't think
Okay,
anybody picked it up from the
okay. I remember I
from the
played.
wire.
Well, he's got gouging fire, which is kind of cool. It's like that's like
Oh yeah,
Entei.
I guess yeah, like a dinosaur dog thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's an Entei type thing. So good stuff. But but no, those pickups stand out to me. So good stuff. And I'm just gonna give it one more once over. I think those are the ones I want to call out. So again, props to you guys. Good luck to you guys, and can't wait to see those Mons succeed for you. So
Aw, thanks, Jordan. Appreciate you.
very sentimental send off
I
for those
know,
guys.
man. I know. I was like, dang, like I got a little teary eyed just now. Wow. But we'll we'll try our best. We'll try our best.
Good stuff.
Um, I feel like we made pretty solid moves. I think everyone's team got a little bit better. Only thing I think the two trades are interesting to me. The Dragon Plate for the Polytoad. Um, and then the yeah, yeah, the two trades because I read them like these were just Polytoad because I read them again. I read like crazy. This might be an endorsement as
Wait, Jay,
well.
hold on. You're kind of cutting in and out. No, it's not.
But
You sound a little muffled.
you know what it was? You know what it was?
What's up?
Because when I saw that trade, I got flabbergasted. My mic started. But yeah, we got a little bit of an endorsement. In the last kind of wire.
Yeah.
Not really expected, but I guess it's cool. It's to each his own. I'm not mad at you.
No,
Get it
for
any way
sure.
you can.
For sure. For sure.
Um, but it's interesting. I like the Dragapult trade for Reese. For Ian, I like Polito. Polito's cool. I wish he kept Dragapult, to be honest with you. I guess he just didn't want like another dragon with Bax Cal over there, which makes sense. But I thought it was nice seeing it on his team. Not as nice seeing it on the Reese's team, just because you know,
Right.
um, it's a little annoying. So that's something if I be SB, I'm not looking forward to. But it is okay. It is. I guess it's okay actually, because I really hate. I love Dragon Ball. It's one of my favorite designs, but I hate going against it. Like hate going against it.
No, yeah, Dragapult is a
Um,
monster.
but yeah, again, props to them for getting that deal done. That's actually pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I think trying to think, is there a move that really stands out? What's really stands out? I like Zach picking up Sylveon. Um, I like Brian picking up Rapska. Was very random. I was not expecting that to happen. I also think him picking up Sinistcha. This was one of the things that I wanted on the asterisk wise at some point. 'Cause I just think it's a pretty cool Pokemon. I think its utility is nasty
Hmm.
when it gets when it gets in position. Kind of support its teammates and do all that fun stuff. I like Dan picking up Roaring Moon, dropping Salamence. That's pretty cool. Kind of like
Oh, that is dope.
upgrading. It's like it's like the older, wiser cousin,
Right,
essentially.
right. That is awesome.
And I like Got to Tell. Got to Tell was also something I was looking at, but I just felt like that's happy with the moves I made. But I think Got to Tell is gonna be really clutch for him, and I think just the shenanigans he can pull off with that's pretty nice. Ian has Louis Colo back. That's pretty fun. Mike getting on our hands big for him as well.
I was actually going to ask if I could take just another second to call that out because that's freaking huge.
Yeah,
Iron
man,
Hands
go
is
for
dope.
it.
Yeah. No, Iron Hands is really
All right.
cool. And I do
Mm-hmm.
also want to say one more. Aris picking up
Go for it.
Pachirisu is kind of cute.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, man. Like little fluffy little electric mouse.
for sure.
You know, which will also be a very very big pain in the ass
Yep.
for a lot of people. As well. I like the I like Jay would pick up his Swing Samurai just because the amount of pressure that it puts on you, especially with the ceaseless edge, is pretty solid. And Simon's move picking up the Keldeo, man, completing the My Little Pony kind of trio. And you know what? I'm gonna give myself a shout out because I've been wanting to use Basket Legion Mail all season, and finally, by the grace of the list makers, it was finally freed from its asterisk prison. Because no one was going to pick it up with the asterisk on. Let's be real. The only person who
Right.
would pick it up and who had the team for it would have been whoever had Rain, which was Ian, and I guess Reese for like 2 weeks. You know when he like had Polyzode. But basically, there's only one like rain person. You know this season, and you know it's okay. I finally get to use it, and I use the female one. And you know I support women's rights most definitely. Um, and I, you know, the male one to me, I think with the move pool, it's just more suited just for a physical offensive threat. And I think Last Respects is a stupid move. To be completely honest with you, I think it's a really stupid move. But it's cool because now you know you can kind of abuse it. But I'm really excited to use Basket Legion. To be honest with you, it's also one of my favorite designs, especially with shiny when it turns like purple.
Hmm.
I think that's like pretty sick, especially because you can ride it in Legends Arceus, which is obviously is pretty nasty as well.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sorry, Johnny.
No,
Continue.
go ahead.
You
Go
know.
ahead. No, I was going to say, I was going to add nothing to the conversation. So go ahead.
No, it's okay. I feel like I said I wasn't. I feel like I just low key went through everyone's move like
Well,
like
no, it's
yeah.
actually kind of interesting because as we were talking through these, like all of these moves were really freaking good. Like everybody
Yeah.
got, I mean, that's what the feed on the week is. Like it's your opportunity to grab those things that were otherwise held hostage on people's teams. So like
Uh-huh.
every move does make perfect sense. And yeah, no, it's exciting to see all these teams just get that injection of power.
Uh-huh.
Which is really, really sick. So, but no, that is funny. We did just kind of we're like, yeah, we're gonna speak to the moves that stand out, and like all of
Yeah.
these moves are so fire. So good
Yeah,
stuff to
yeah. I was
everybody.
like, and I realized like I'm literally just going down the list one by one, just like kind of briefly talking about everyone's
But
move.
they were
But
all
again,
so good though. Like everything. Like
exactly.
Ian drops Weird Ear for Ludicolo on a rain team, freaking spectacular. You know how can you not point that out? So that's hilarious.
What was and yeah, what was the other one I thought was like really funny? What was really funny? What that was like funny?
I think
Oh yeah,
Reese
and
didn't Reese do something with the Infernape. Did he let someone pick that for him? Again, I was kind of checked out, but I kind of gathered that a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. He was like, hey, in one of the Discord chats, he was like, hey, someone just pick a Pokemon, like just randomly. I think Ian was the only one there. He was like, hey, just pick a Pokemon. He was like Infernape. He just picked it up. You know, big shout out to Jalen, resident Infernape enthusiast. Jalen, who was at the last draft party, if I remember correctly. You
Hmm.
was at the draft party. I'm not going
Yep,
crazy,
yep.
right?
No, you're
Okay, yeah.
right.
Was at the draft party, you know, and Infernape enthusiast. And, you know, I think that's that's a flex, honestly. I wish I had that level of confidence where I could be like, hey, just pick a Pokemon for me.
Right.
No matter what it is, I'll make it work. That's very impressive. But yeah, I like Infernape. Infernape is pretty chill, bro. I
Well,
mean,
you know
it's not
what's
chill, it's a
funny?
fire type. It's
You know
cool.
what's funny is that like Infernape is a cool Pokemon, sure. Has it had much PLC success? Don't misquote me, but I don't think so. But Aris saying like I'm just I can pick it up, and then everyone immediately looks at the Infernape like on Aris's team it can be dangerous. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's just
I
interesting that
thought
Aris is like I can turn whatever into something solid. Just give me a mon, and I'm bringing it into playoffs, and that just happened to be Infernape this year. So
I thought Infernape had a ring.
does it actually? See, okay, I may be mistaken.
I feel like Zach picked it up like on one season and like it put in work for him. I don't know
Let's
if he
check it out. Hold on.
maybe like I don't know if he like won it, but I could have sworn Infernape had a ring. If Maractus has a ring, anything could have a ring.
Yo, Maractus does have a ring. Respect the Maractus. So
That's
I'm looking at season 7.
crazy.
Season 7 is when Zach beat me in finals, and Zach. Where is Zach's team? Zach does not have Infernape on that team.
Oh, what about season
6?
5?
No, season 5 was
No.
my championship.
Oh yeah, how about season 4? Which was I believe was that Zach or was that a Reese? I think that's Zach.
Let's take a look. We're looking at standings. Nope, that's a Reese. That was his 3-time. So that means Zach won season 3. So let's take a look at season 3. Standings. Zach beat Mike in season 3. Looking at rosters, Zach does have Infernape. Infernape does have a ring. Good stuff.
Dude, my memory for like random stuff is like insane. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Infernape was on like someone's team. I remember Zach. I remember Zach. He's like, "I got you, Jalen. Don't worry. I'll make you proud." Shut up.
What? That's crazy. That's actually really cool. That's a good callback. Good stuff, Jay. That's awesome.
Thank you. I try my best. You know, I have to throw just a tiny bit of hate in there, just because it wouldn't be me if it wasn't hating on Zach. At least at one point
No, that's
in the
fair.
podcast.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm joking, Zach. I love you. I love you.
Dang,
That's
season 3. Dang, that's crazy. Season, like, it's crazy. I'm just looking at the spreadsheet, and it's interesting to see how far we've come. You know. That is pretty freaking nuts. Wow. That is crazy. Just looking back, it's like blast from the past type of. Wow, that's nuts. Back to season 9. Oh my gosh, the production quality is so much better now. It's cool.
Production quality.
Just the sheet is freaking fire now compared to what it was. What was season 3? That was 2018.
Season 3. Damn, that was.
I think season 3 might have been 2017 because 2016 was season 1, and then I want to say like we picked up season 2 immediately. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It was 2017. The reason I know this because I remember season 2 was my first year, and I was a sophomore in college.
Dang, that's freaking nuts, dude.
I'm 26 now. That's actually like 27. That's actually insane.
That is freaking crazy. Wow. PLC, we're all growing up together. Fun stuff.
Might be close to 10 years. Well, literally after, well, like not the group itself, but the league.
Right.
You know,
but 10
years, man.
10 years of competition. Yeah, exactly.
And big ones.
That is freaking wild.
And
interesting stuff.
That's crazy.
No, it really is. But no, this is fun. We've all grown up together, which is cool. We've seen kids get born, and we've seen, we've seen you graduate. Mike graduated. I'm sure we have some other, important milestones in these last couple of years. But as we head into season 9 playoffs, just let's all sit back and just not reminisce, but just appreciate, how far we've come. So it's exciting.
Yes, sir.
But no, those are your transactions from this past weekend. They'll feed on the week. And Jay, I guess the only other thing to do is make some predictions.
Yes,
for
sir.
Playoffs. Are you ready to lock in your calls?
Yes.
All right, good stuff. So let me load up my notes really quickly. And what we're gonna do for these calls is we are going to predict our winner, and then we are going to predict the 2 games to 0 or 2 games to 1. Again, it's a best of 3. First player to win 2 games wins the set, and that will be like our perfect call indicator. So we're not going to do plus minuses, but we are going to do the correct outcome game wise. Is that cool? All right. Well, let's kick it off. And Jay, I'll let you do the honors because it is your match first. Jay and SB. That is our first matchup of the playoffs. Jay, let me know your call.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go for myself in 3 matches, to be honest with you, because I think And I think in a best of three, I think that's where I shine. To be honest with you, I think the first game may or may not go my way, but I feel like I kind of have, and I think I adapt really well. And I think once I kind of figure out like what someone kind of plays or how they kind of play, I think I usually make better predictions. And I think it helps. So I'm gonna go for myself winning, but I do think SB is gonna take one game off me
Okay, no, good
potentially.
stuff. No, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm actually going to go with that same call. So I think that you and SB, you guys are both competent. You guys are both good players, and a little bit of history here, and
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be fun to watch. So I'm gonna go with you by 3 games as well. So I think it'll be a close set, but I think you will come out on top. So
Thank you. Thank you.
no, good stuff. Next we have Mike and Phil. So again, Phil's kind of limping into playoffs a little bit as the number 12
Mhm.
player. And then Mike is kind of, he was on the cusp of being in that top 4. So I think he's going to come out guns blazing. I think Mike's going to win
Mhm.
this set in 2 games.
Yes. I'm going to mirror that pick. I think Mike's going to be, as you said, a little bit sad that he missed out on that week off.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to unfortunately take it out on Phil some round. So I'm going Mike in 2 games. Oh.
All right, I've got it locked in.
Mhm. Next up, we got Jay Wade going against Brendan. A match that I think will be going 3 games. I think Brendan made a lot of really nice adjustments to his team, kind of picking up that Hale core.
Mm-hmm.
But I still got Jay Wade edging him out. I got Jay Wade edging him out in 3 games.
All right, I've got that locked in. This is going to be a close set. I think this is also going to go 3 games. Um, I'm gonna go with Brendan though. I think that Brendan, again,
Mm.
Brendan is a good player. I don't know exactly what happened this year. I haven't talked to him about how he's felt about the season or whatever. But he was in finals last year. He's knocked me out of playoffs. I want to say like 2 of the last 4 seasons or something like that. So I know firsthand that he can be a pain in the butt to play. Um, and that being said, I think he's going to come out on top in this set but it's going to go to 3 games. So
Mhm.
it'll be close. That'll be fun to keep an eye on. In the last
Yes, sir.
match is Dan and Simon. Again, Simon's first taste of PLC playoff action. Dan, he's been through this before, and he'll
Mhm.
be through this again in seasons going forward, I'm sure. I'm going to go with Dan. But interestingly enough, I think it will go game 3. I think Simon does take a game. So I'm going to go with
Mm.
Dan in 3 games.
I also think Dan will take it, but I do think playoff experience matters here. Um, I think Dan has a little bit more, and I just think, I also think Dan just has a little bit of the better team. I think he has a lot of solid answers for what Simon has as well. So I'm gonna go with Dan in 2.
All right, I've got that locked in as well. So we called the first 2 games exactly the same, and then we have a little bit of a different calls in the last 2. So it's gonna be fun to see how the playoffs shake out, how our calls shake out, and Jay, that is all we had on the docket for today. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we wrap up the round 1 pod?
No, just good luck everybody first and foremost. And for those who are in there, just remember, man, you have to win twice. And there's no shame. And again, if you lose that first game, it's okay. You have another chance. Just try. Pokemon's a weird game where it's like, again, you can have the best game plan in the world, but again, sometimes things just happen. RNG can happen, or your partner may just make a pretty solid read. Just don't let it get to you. Just try to maintain like composure more than anything, and just realize you have more than one chance to bring home a W. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, very well said. So I will echo those sentiments. Good luck to everybody playing, and don't get tilted. Just go in with a game plan, execute. If it works, awesome. Do it again. Execute again. Win a second game. If it doesn't, no worries. You've got this second game to figure things out. Try to get that dub and then take it to game 3. So excited to see what happens. And Jay, with that being said, I guess we can wrap up the round 1 pod. I appreciate you taking the time to talk through the games with me, and it's been a fun season, and I'm excited to see what happens in the playoffs. So that's all for now. I'll see everyone in
Yes,
chat.
sir.
Peace.
Peace.